Okay, per request, here is a little video of the do-it-yourself Franken-chiller, we call it, that we did. And I just followed a video I saw on YouTube. So we built this thing in basically two pieces. You can see on the bottom is a plywood sheet with casters, and we mounted everything to that. The air conditioning unit and the cooler, which I'll show you in a second. And then that box, which granted is not a thing of beauty, but it's just a very lightweight frame made out of Luan that with 4 bolts can come right off in one piece, exposing everything for service, or more likely when my window unit takes a crap and I have to replace it. So I've got on this side a carboy, 5 gallons, just to show you a little scale. It turned out bigger than we had hoped, but kind of big. And there's some slits there for ventilation. So when I flip open this side, hopefully you can see that is a Sharp 6000 BTU air conditioning unit that I happen to have, that we butchered up. Took all the framing, or the case off, and just have the I think that's the condenser, I don't know, the hot part there, which is where the lines up with the slots, the fan, the compressor. Down here are the electronics, which we basically, try to get that in focus there, just kind of hot wired the thermostat so it's always on when it's on, and the fan's on high. The copper tubing, which we bent, is going to the other side where the cooler lives, and I'll show you that side in a second. That hole right there, which doesn't look beautiful, is where the glycol hose fits through, and that's hooked up, and it goes right through to the cooler, which again is a cooler that we had, and we cut a hole, put some pipe insulation, so that glycol line, sorry about that, runs right through there. So you can see maybe the what happens is the power cord for the air conditioner kind of wraps around the cooler just to take up space, and it plugs into, down there is a power strip. And the other thing that's in that power strip besides the air conditioning itself is the in here is the little wave maker fan that just circulates the glycol mix. There's the cool part. That's the best we could do in terms of getting it in there. We were risking kinking those brass lines, which we didn't want to do. That is, and then of course the little pump for the spike. I have a spike conical, which is currently living right there. That's a 10 gallon, holds like 14 gallon. It'd have its own pump that would live under here and come through the holes that I already showed you. So when that power strip comes on, it turns on the air conditioning unit and that little fan, and that power strip comes through and it's plugged into this, whatever brand that is, temperature controller. And I'm going to turn this thing on for just a second. Be quiet so you can hear it. And there's that side, the other thing. The white cord there is the temperature probe that goes into the cooler for this temperature controller. And if I open this side up again, you can maybe see that that little fan is circulating the glycol mixture. I have a per Spike Brewing's recommendation, a 3-to-1 glycol water mix. I have 3 gallons of food grade glycol in there and 9 gallons of distilled water, which is probably way more than I need, but down the road I plan on adding a few more of those guys, and I should have plenty to run 3, 4, whatever. And of course, for the gentleman asking about the cooling, sorry to be so shaky, my glycol tubes plug into that coil, which go into the top of that unit, and it's controlled by another regulator, as most people I think understand. So anyways, that's it. We again, it helped that I already had the air conditioning unit. It's not a piece of art, but it's effective. And what I found, interestingly, I have this thing set. It'll shut off at around 27, 26 in that range, and it won't kick on until 30. But I've left this thing sit 24 hours and it only dropped like 2 degrees. It's in my basement, which is, I'm in Ohio, so in the fall it's 60 degrees, 65 in this basement anyways. But I don't think this thing's going to run that often, which is nice. And as you can hear, it's on. I'm talking normal tones, and it's I think I was surprised how quiet it is. So I've got no electrical skills, clearly no carpentry skills, and we built this thing, me and my friend, and we found it to be pretty darn simple. And I've got more money in that controller was like $30, give or take, and I mean I had everything else and the wood. I bet you, because I had the air conditioner already, that's key, but I bet you I don't have 150 in this whole project, which a whole lot nicer than buying a $1,000 one from SS, even though that's a slick unit. I think this is going to get it done. So feel free to ask me any questions. I'm certainly no expert, but this is what we did. Cheers.